So what are the other endpoints which I'm going to set up right now? Before that, so that I don't miss anything, let me refer whether I'm covering everything as per the order. So yeah, we are creating the user profile, connected with the profile, create the factory for user profile, and seeded all the user profiles. So now we need to set up the resource for endpoints. Okay, we are pretty much moving in the way I had planned to progress. So the next part is to set up a middleware for accessing the profiles, which is again, if I have to update whatever the profile that I have created right now, that is another area where I can set it up. So I'm going to create one more group for that, API group. I'm going to call it let's prefix that, because this is going to be used by the logged in user itself to access his profile, let's say. So I'm going to call it then as prefix with me. That's because I am logging in, so I want to see my profile, let's say. So that's the intention here. So I'm going to do that using a me prefix API. So that's the one part, and the next part is that I also need this middleware of auth.api as well. So I'm gonna also include that, the second middleware, and then now I can start using or consuming those endpoints right now. So that's what I'm gonna do. So $API, first endpoint which I'm going to create is going to be a get call to fetch my profile. So I'm going to just call it as profile. And do we have a user profile controller? We already have it, yes. So I'm going to use that. User profile controller is already coming with index store, but then I'm going to make some changes to those endpoints. So it has created custom request formats, but I'm not going to use that because I don't have a real use case to use it in this, at least. So I'm just going to go with the basic one. Even here, I think, yeah, let's do the basic stuff, because again, this is not the show is only going to be, even I just need a show function, because token is going to take care of whatever information I need. Again, there are lots of things which are available here. I guess I don't need even that. Request and user profile I don't need to pass, because again I might just pass it within this request itself. Destroys, I don't need again any parameter, because token again knows what needs to be did. If it's about destroying my own account, that's what it's going to do. Shows what it's going to show my profile. If I have to save my profile, I use this index. Again, I don't think index itself is not needed, because show is going to take care of that. Either you can use index or show. Maybe I'll get rid of show because it's not needed resource. I can just use index itself. So it's going to be index, store, update, and destroy. So I'm going to go back to my API route and then going to do this. First thing is profile. Maybe I'll just use one of these. Then just modify this one to user profile controller, and that's going to be index first thing. So this is just going to give me the index, my profile information, more or less. So for that, I am going to go to my user profile controller, and then it's actually fetching the user itself. So more or less I'm going to use the user itself, because user profile and user more or less are the same. So I'm going to say because it's available to token, these are coming through auth.api.auth middleware. So I will anyway get the token, and I can use that to get my user. So it's as simple as this. I'm accessing the user. This is what I am accessing. So user equals to this. So maybe I protect it within a try. If there is any error, can throw it right away. And this might be a GWT JWT exception maybe, so I'll just throw only that. I'm gonna uncomment this to, if there is JWT exception, I'm going to throw that, because we are consuming the JWT auth itself over here. And then if it is okay, then this is what I'm going to return dollar this response, then item, that's a user item, and I already have the transformer created, user transformer. That's a new instance of user transformer. That's it pretty much. And maybe set the status code to 200, otherwise it's anyway going to return 200 itself. So that's pretty much the first endpoint. So it's just going to return this. So if I come back and do I already have the endpoint here, so it's API me profile. If I execute that now, see, it's my logged in credential, because this is what I logged in with, right? And Marvin example. So if I go back to my login and Marvin example, it's just returning my credential itself. So let's say if I have to now create a new account, or at least this is again an update itself, because I am more or less, if I want to update my profile, it's going to update my username or first name. So I'm just exposing one more endpoint for store, where I'm going to again access it and then going to update my details. So more or less, I'm just going to create one more endpoint. Okay, post, this is more creation. Let's say if you don't have any profile existing, this is the one you will use. Even update works, but then I'm just going to keep it a separate endpoint. So it's going to accept store, and we are going to pass maybe the first name, last name, and gender in this case. So if I go back to my user profile controller in store, then there are some validations which I can make. I can call the validator then, so which is the support.facades validator make, and this is going to accept all the requests coming through, and then I apply a validation. So it is going to be, so this I'm going to call as the validator, because I need to capture the failure cases. Then validator, and the I'm going to pass the rules needed. So first rule is that maybe it's a required field, yeah, and then I'm going to say it's a string, then okay, where did I go? Okay, and then it should have minimum of 3 characters and maximum maybe I limit to 30 something. And pretty much that I don't need to make it unique and all, because there can be people who will have multiple same kind of last name, first name. So I need not restrict that. Again, this is the second one. The gender is going to be the third one, which I might just keep it as required. Maybe that's enough, I guess. Did I have any rule for gender when I created it? User profile. Yeah, I had maybe, and then I was also keeping it as string. So these are the 3 validations which I had done, and if the validation is failing, let's say, then validator, if it fails, then I might just return an error, or yeah, return response JSON, pass the error, validator errors. That's enough. That's pretty much what I will do. So let's check this part. So ideally this should start returning our errors. So I'm gonna use the post one. So if you can see, first name, last name, gender I already have, and then the profile update is here. So it's going to accept these 3. So let's see, if I get rid of at least one, it should ideally start giving an error now. So let's check that. Post method is not supported for this route. Me profile. So didn't I not create the endpoint already? Oops, I just kept it at the wrong place. This should ideally be okay. What is wrong? So this is users. I think this was fine, but then confused. Where did I keep the endpoint? Let me just do. Okay, so maybe I made a mistake earlier. There was only an index with me. I did not have a store, I guess. Okay, so this is going to be a post, and this is going to be user controllers dot store. So now we have the endpoint available, which is coming under me profile. If I run this now, unsolved dependency resolution parameter 1, and what is that now? So if I go back, oh, this is going to be HTTP request. I guess that could be the reason. Maybe let's check once. Yeah, that was a problem. Okay, so that was a wrong import which caused that. Okay, so now this is more closer to whatever we wanted to do with it, which is to update. If so, the next step is if this is okay, then we try getting the user itself, which we already had the code here. So we can do this, try catch the user, and then let's see if the user is available. If user, then we can do stuff with that user. If not user, then we return throw new not found exception or something. So you can say user profile not found. Otherwise we can start using this. So this is available now, and I think I can start using this to update the user then. So I have to then use this user. I'm going to update the user profile, and I can just call update or create. Let's say if the user is not existing, this is more of a creation case. So if the user is not existing, it's going to use the primary key to check for the user if it's for the user's existence. So we already have the user available. User, I can use that ID. Okay, come inside this. So this is more going to update the user based on this ID. If the user is existing, then it's going to update. If not, it's going to create. That's the whole logic here. So user profile, user create or update based on the user ID. If it's existing, then I'm just going to update the first name, which is coming from the request first name, then last name, again request last name, update the gender, that's also done. Finally, let's activate the user. So I'm just going to say active, yes, true. So I'm going to activate the user, and he's an active user. So this is the step where it's going to create or update the user which I'm creating. So that's one step. Maybe keep it clean formatting. Okay, so that's done. Now user is created. This one should ideally create the user profile for the user. So to test this, whatever I'm going to do is to create a new user. So I'm going to start with the sign up. Maybe this is more something which okay, this is anyway for me, right? So I can always create a user. So even before that, I think I need to modify something over here where, let's say, This was the earlier case. Let's say if I go to my API, and we had this sign up over here, which was creating a user. This was a lazy sign up. Let's say if I just need to pass my name, email, password to sign up myself, and that's just creating a user, but it's not associating the user with any roles. So if we have to do that as well, I think it's better that I sign up that user with the basic basic flow, which is to have him as a where do I have it? So I'm just creating the user, and then I can always assign this user to the, I don't know, okay, maybe I think I did it only for, yeah, so I was not assigning any role. So I need to, if after the sign up of the creation of the user, I can assign a role for that user, which is going to be a customer role, because this is more a lazy sign up, and the user might have come through a regular sign up flow and not through the store creation flow. So this is where the assignment of the role is happening. So the user will get created with the specific role. So this, I wanted to just make this change because I'm going to create a user right now using I'm going to log out and sign up as a new user. That's what I'm going to do to check the first flow of creating a user profile. So for that, I'm going to go to sign up, and maybe within this body, I don't like this one, so I'm going to remove this one and make it into JSON raw format. And I'm going to say name. This is not a user existing, so I'm going to say I wish is my username. I have an email, maybe I'll just say some random email, wish@mail.com is enough. And then finally I'm entering a password. It can be again the same test@123, so that it accepts all the necessary params needed. So send, it creates a user with this access token. So this is created now, and if I need to access my profile right now, let's say I'm going to update this again, the base token, and if I do a fetch right now, I think it's going to give me the basic information with unknown none, because I don't have a profile yet created. So this is the next step where I need to update my profile for user ID 24. So if I go here now, and then let's say if I do Wish Venki as my updated name, I think it's already going to give me an error to hack the gender. So I'm going to add gender male. And this should ideally update my profile. Oh, user ID is not fillable. So okay, so that's something you need to be careful. You need to have this fillable made available. So this is, you should be also be careful while doing this. Let's say if you are sure that some of the fields that you want to be made as fillable is not a threat to your security of the application, then you need to have it under hidden or non-fillable. So that's something you should take care. So I'm going to use the same for user profile as well. So I'm just going to include first name, last name, gender, and even active. Four params. Now it should allow me to create the user, I guess. Okay, that's created, no response. I think if you go to the table, if I refresh, you will already see that I wish mail with the password is created, and also there will be a user profile which is updated now with that information which we entered, wish venki mail. So that's also taken care. So maybe I forgot to do the final bit, which was the creation success message on creation. So maybe let's do that as well. Response and we can always see, because it's more of a update, like I said, it's going to only update, so I can again do that once more. So user profile updated success fully, and then maybe I can pass the ID as well. Come on. ID is user ID. So that's my response, and then I can return it. This response, or I can say response JSON, pass the response, and status code 201. It's more of a creation, so that should take care. So I can do one more update for the same user. Maybe I'll just modify this to Vishy and Venkita Chalam, then execute it. It says user profile updated. So to verify that, we can always go back to the table and you can see that it's updated. So this is now pretty good. This is an endpoint for any logged in user. So if let's say I log out, go back to logout, sign, logged out, and if I try to access it again, it should not give me any. So its token has been blacklisted, so user is logged out already. So again you log in. Let's say if I go back and say wish. Okay, so this was for this user. So we had updated it for the first user. It's not for my email ID. Okay, I think I did this was actually a creation of a new user, which was 24. I guess okay, so I just need to log in again. So I was using, okay, I just got a little confused. So this is the user. I need to log in. It returns a token. And then I can save this token over here, because there's lots of login, logouts. Just I got confused. Okay, now it should return the, okay, token has been blacklisted. I think they're right. I did not copy the right one. Go here. Okay, copying issue. Come back, send. Okay, that's returning my credentials right now, or at least that's a logged in user. So that's working all fine. Post we also created. Put is again more or less going to be the same. I can just maybe grab the whole thing. We can even segregate. Let's say if you're only entering first name, then we can maybe move it within. Let's say if the request is only okay, that's one interesting part. For maybe first time creation, we might ask more things, but then second time creation, maybe we can keep it something like if the request, okay, the user, anyway, fetching that user. Next step is that if let's say the request is coming with password, if password is not empty, then I'm only validating for, let's say, password to start with. So first name I'm validating. If there is an error, I'm going to send that error. If not, I can always update that like this. I'm just checking for the user ID, only updating the first name. This should work. So similarly, every field I can do that. Let's say if this is for the last name, maybe I don't think nobody is going to update their gender once it is set, hopefully. So I'm just gonna keep only the first name and last name as the two parameters which are going to be updated, let's say. So this is more my update code then. So I'm gonna get rid of all of the other things. So first name, then last name, and then this is going to save that info of the user. And then finally I can just say user profile updated. So why did I have it as, okay, again it's create here, it's more like created then, and this is more of an update. So let's say if the next time, okay, this is more of a put call, so I need to also include the endpoint for that. So that's my put. And it's going to be update. Ideally, if I have this similar, I think something like this I had created. So if I'm just going to update my first name, let's say, it should update that. It's just going to be that my name is going to be updated as, maybe I'll just give my full name and then update that. Send. The last name field is required. So like maybe let's go back. I think I made a small mistake there in the validation part. Okay, I think I'm having first name is the first part. So if the request has first name, it's going to validate first name, and then because there is no return, it's entering last name. Okay, this is the problem. Last name. Those are the two things. And validator fails, it's going to update last name. Here it's updating the first name. Now I think it should be fine. Update profile, so it should ideally update my name right now. Go back to my profile, refresh, it's updating. So my full name is updated now. So that's maybe one use case for update. And then the final part is delete, which is might be very straightforward. So I can just say, maybe grab this piece of code itself, and then I'll have the user. Once he's accessed, I can just say user delete. So it's a cascade delete, so it should ideally delete the user right away. So I don't need more code than that. And maybe I also log out the user. I don't think, maybe because as soon as the user is deleted, maybe the app can take care of it. But otherwise, I think we can always call a logout as well. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just a one call where you just call the auth and logout, right? So maybe something like this, so that the user is deleted and he's also logged out, maybe. So maybe I'll just keep that. Let's see if it crashes my app or something. But this is my endpoint, and I need to keep a delete endpoint as well for this. So delete, that's my destroy it is. So if I have this now, if I execute a delete, I already have it. I think user ID profile is the logged in profile, so I don't need to pass anything more than that. And if I do an execute of delete, again I missed out on sending a response back. But I think the user would have been deleted from both places. You don't see Vishwanathan anymore. Even here is deleted. So it's a cascade delete which has happened, and I have also logged out the user. So if I try to maybe execute anything right now, because let's say if anyway the user was not send token is being blacklisted, that means he's logged out. So one final thing which I might have to do now is that final message which needs to be passed has to be kept. So here it should be If it is an update, I can keep it as 200. I think this is that update part. That's also done. And delete also. Similar kind of message I can pass. User profile deleted successfully with 200. And this ID will not make much sense. So yeah, I think will it even respond back? Let's go through the whole flow once more and see what happens. So I have this sign up. Again, the same user I'm going to sign up. That signed up. I'm going to use this to keep at the top so that we can do more stuff. Saved it. And if I come to my profile, I think it should give me an empty one. No profile details are not there. So I do a post now. And it's going to update my profile. I can do a fetch again to see, and it's updated with whatever I tried to create it. And then I do a profile edit. Again, it's going to change my name. So if I do an execution again, it's again updated with that name. Final thing is I did a put, and now I need to delete. So let's say profile number 25 is deleted. User profile deleted successfully, and I should not be able to access anything anymore, and the token is mine. So this flow is complete now. So this was one part of accessing my profile. So that part is complete. All of the endpoints needed are created now. So what are we? Maybe I'll just cover a couple of more things before we wind up this episode, and then come back for more interesting ones, which is on the store side. So what other endpoints are there? Let me have a look. I was trying to cover maybe the user creation is done, but then I'm also looking at creating some more endpoints, let's say for the admin. Like I was talking about creating more stuff for the admin to handle. Let's say I want to activate a user, suspend a user, and maybe change the role of a user, get the existing roles, and look at the permissions which is given for a user. So these are some of the endpoints I'm interested in to look at. Let's get started with that now.